can see it from here. I don't know if you can see it. Hello, people. We are live.
Hello, hello. Oh yeah, I can see myself now on the phone. I'm going to keep that there so I can see comments. Turn the sound off.
Good evening, rebels and rule breakers. This is a first because I don't think we've done one of these in the evening yet, so it would be interesting to see who we get hopping on. We've got one person watching. That could actually be you, Lisa, to be fair.
It could indeed.
So guys, as always, if you're listening, watching or whatever, put some comments in, let us know you're here. Don't forget to give StreamYard permission to, hi Lisa, to see your name and photo, because otherwise we can't see who you are. I've got a hey sausage in there, so I know for a fact that's Becca.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening. So let me introduce you, rebels, to my lovely friend Lisa Gaskell, who is an absolute gem on the planet. And I'm going to read you her little intro, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I know her. So Lisa's intro is, I unplugged myself from the Matrix. I was trapped in, what a great start for a, for a first liner there. I was trapped in a world paradigm, get a good job, play it safe, work for 40 years, have a good retirement. I went through a serious period of depression, which has actually been a huge blessing because the healing journey caused me to wake up and see that there is a different way, different choices. And my mission is to help other people change their life and income. Yeah. How beautiful is that? Hi, MK.
Hey.
Amazing intro. So Lisa and I know each other from, let's just say, a housing provider, where we used to both, where I last had a proper job. Before I was in the wild, we both worked there, and we shall not name it because it was a god-awful toxic place. It really was. It did us harm, didn't it? But we learned from it. And yeah, and we're both now not there, which is amazing. But Lisa does sort of a bit of proper job and a bit of out in the wild, don't you now? And is blending that whole motherhood thing all in there. You got plates to spin and you do it beautifully, and you always look glamorous. That's the like
Thank you so much.
So tell us a bit more about you, whatever comes to mind.
I suppose I can't, when I think back now, I feel like I was plugged into the Matrix. What I meant by that was kind of, I was in that rat race of get up, go to work as hard as you can, work as many hours as you can, come home, sort your kids out, do everything, which was all ticking along fine. But what I wasn't aware of is that I also had placed what I perceived as my happiness I'd put conditions on it. So as long as I had the right job, as long as it was in the right place, as long as my marriage was all right, as long as everyone was happy, then I was happy. So obviously the wheels came off that in a big way when I got divorced, and I then had 2 kids on my own. And I went into a completely victim mentality, like really victim mode. This has happened to me. I mean, I was so bad that I was counting the bad things to reaffirm to myself that I was right, that it was so bad and that no one cared. Do you know what?
Defending your victim status.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. It was really bad. And it was to the point where like I was losing friends through it because they were distancing, which is right, you should. But like I couldn't see it. But I suppose when you've never had depression, you don't recognize it in yourself. And the amazing thing that happened to me on that journey to getting better, the counselling and the healing, it then sparked like a massive love for self-development and learning all about your mind. And like I started reading, I started listening to YouTube videos, I started following coaches. I've even got into like Bob Proctor's Thinking into Results now. I'm like obsessed with self-development. And I suppose that then sort of, I kind of woke up in another way because it also opened up like the spiritual side as well. I realized that I'm an empath and I pick up on physical pains as well as emotional states of other people, which when I wasn't aware of it, was partly feeding the fact that I was so unstable when I was going through the depression, because I was also absorbing everybody's emotional state at the time and assuming it was mine. And when you work in an office full of 40 people, when you're not aware of it, it's you feel like you're going mad, like, but once I became aware of it, it was like a little game. I had to figure out whose thought that was or whose pain that was. um, so yeah, I kind of then went on to train as a Reiki healer, and learn a lot of holistic therapies and things like that. And then as part of this journey, I then started my business as well, which is makeup and skincare predominantly. I do this on social media, but a lot of the ethos of the business as well is around self-development and developing yourself so that you can be a better leader and provide better service and everything. Yeah, I just love it. And I think going on that journey, that freed me up from that thought of your life has to be in a certain way. Like, I always thought you had to have a job, you had to go to work, and it had to be like this. And then all of a sudden, I was like, it suddenly opened doors to all kinds of different businesses. I started to meet other people that were entrepreneurs, like Emma. But like, you start to then see there is a completely different way to live your life. Like, everybody is completely, it's almost, I feel like I had blinkers on that had suddenly been removed, and I was like, I feel like I've just been born again.
It's like this dome around the protective dome suddenly shatters, isn't it? And you're like,
yeah,
the whole of the world I didn't know existed beyond this boundary. It's
definitely. And I think it just opened up everything, because then I think I was starting to develop spiritually as well, and realize that your happiness doesn't come from external things. So, like, succeeding in your business, being happy in your marriage, like a certain person doing something, achieving something, being with someone, none of that stuff, that's just conditions, isn't it? That's you putting conditions on your own happiness, when actually that's who you are inside anyway. Do you know, like, that's your truth, that's who you are. You're not your body, you're just the awareness in between. Yeah, I just feel like I feel like a whole new person when I look back. And I absolutely love my vision. I think, like, my vision now is to eventually step away from my job altogether, but when it's the right time, when I've sort of grown it to that level. So yeah, I love it.
I got imagine you, and if we got a bit of a sound issue, by the way, did you hear that weird feedback thing?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it's where we differ. It alternates from you to me, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I find it strange to imagine you anything but the way you are now, because you've always been the positive person. And actually, I think you and Becca Percival would get on really well. Becca and I were messaging back and forth before, and Becca described herself as a positive sausage, which is an understatement.
Yeah. I like that. It's really weird though, when you go on a journey of self-development and you start to be more aware of, like, what's true for you. Like, some of you, like, every belief that I have, I am aware of it, and I can question it. Is it true? Is it mine? Do I need to keep it? Like, I've got such a different awareness now of things that might be limiting me. I feel more. And for a long time, I used to have, like, quite a lot of, I used to kind of clash with anybody who was really on the other extreme, because I was like, why can't you see it? Like, but then I think I started to, that was also my learning journey, because it's kind of like, you've got to accept that everybody's awareness is where it is right now, and that's for them,
not everybody's ready. Lisa Ravens is saying, it's almost like, and this is beautiful actually, it's almost like our unconscious self waits until the right time to show itself.
I love that.
Lisa, and
when you're ready,
and I actually, weirdly, what I've discovered is it's almost like a remembering. So when I suddenly have light bulb moments, or I suddenly learn things, something slots into place, it's like I already knew it, but from a different time. And I think genuinely that is what happens. And it's beautiful that, I mean, I said to someone the other day, I can't remember who it was now, imagine, it might have been Matt actually on one of the rebel things. Imagine if we knew in our early 20s what we know now in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on. We'd be flipping dangerous, wouldn't we? So it's almost like we're not meant to have that level of wisdom at that age, because God knows what.
Maybe, yeah. You're just not.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I often think back, like at the time when I was in that depression and feeling like my life is shit and there's nothing I can do about it. It's just bad. No one cares about me, for me. Like, but when I look back at it, I think like I am so blessed that I had that experience, because now I can use that to help other people. I can recognize it in other people and I can help them to see it. You know, like I can direct them. Obviously you can't do it for them, but you can, your awareness of it means that you can see
show
it and, yeah, encourage.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely right. And you know what, we spoke before, didn't we, before we came online? We talked about that being there for other people, because you know, one of the things that I've certainly understood in recent years is that we are all here to help other people in some way, and we're given a set of, you know, gifts and talents in order to do that. And when you shift your focus, and you said this to me before, when you shift your focus from how can I get by in life, how can I make a book, how can I do this for me, to how can I serve others, then all of a sudden the dynamic of everything changes. So you were saying this before about your business. So tell us a bit more about what that means to you and how that's kind of happened.
Yeah. So my business is a network marketing structured business. So there's two elements to it. So I'm selling obviously the makeup and skincare, but I'm also bringing people into the team and showing them how to do the same.
Let's name who they are, by the way. Who's the?
Yeah, it's unique. It's unique. Mineral-based makeup and skincare. So we when I first started my business, I was very focused on, I found this shiny ball that was going to free me from the job. And I was kind of really focused on, right, I need to learn how to do the things, and I need to get so many people into my team, and they need to be selling so much makeup, and this is going to get me such a, you know, like I was very focused on how this was going to benefit me. And I was doing some reflection last year on sort of my performance, you know, like a little audit on my business to say, like, my sales are brilliant. The number of people that I've brought in over the time that I've been doing this is brilliant, but the retention of those people isn't brilliant. So I might have brought 100 people into the business, but I've only got 8 to 10 in my team. So why? You know, like I started to question, like, why is that? And what I realized by looking really critically at myself is that I'm bringing people in and I'm giving them the training and showing them what to do and telling them how good it works for me again. And then expecting them to just go off and do whatever they need to do. And I had like just a bit of an awakening at Christmas, and I was like, actually, I don't need to be focusing on what I need from this business, and I don't need to be focusing on what I need people to do, and there should be no need for what I need, basically. So I set my new goal for 2021, and I wrote it on my little card that I've got so that I can see it every day. But when I was writing it, I thought, this year I've switched my focus completely, and it's all about how can I serve, not what can I get. I've completely detached myself from the outcome, because my joy, whether it's been in healing, whether it's been in, you know, helping people, just like one-to-one coaching, my joy comes from seeing someone else succeed and seeing someone be that little bit better just because of that meeting with me. You know, like just that, even if they walk away with a smile on the face, you feel like you've done something. And I thought, so this year my goal is to help 200 ladies to achieve the income goals that they've set for themselves with the business. So the thing that I'm doing now is, when I bring a new person in, my whole focus is now on what would you like to earn from it, and then I'll show you the steps and I'll help you. I'll do it with you so that you can get what you need to get from this business. And within a week, I can already see a massive difference. Like, my 4 new starters have come in, they've told me what they want, I've told them how I'll help them, and they've all earned like the money from the kit back, and like loads of commission more and loads of free makeup more. And the really great thing is I'm not excited for me. I'm excited for them now, which is, yeah, I feel like I've had like a massive shift in how I'm thinking about my business. So, yeah.
That feeling when you know you've had an impact on people's lives, genuinely, that is really thrilling. Your screen's just frozen then for a second. Back now. Yeah, that is a massive shift. I think, you know, that people can tell when you suddenly shift into a place of authenticity. People can see that a mile off, and that in itself, you know, gets people places, doesn't it?
Definitely.
So anyone who's looking to, you know, sort of create a little bit of independence from their jobs and a little start a business, you know where to come, because Lisa will absolutely help you, and I know that for a fact. That is lip service, because I know Lisa well enough to know that.
Oh, thank you very much. But yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. Not from it. It's so weird. It's the feeling, you know, like I'm buzzing for the people, you know, like I've had people ringing me like, oh my God, I've got some more sales. Oh my God. And I'm like, it's just so nice, because I feel like I'm making a difference now, instead of just I'm building, but with that intention for yourself, you know, like it's that intention for them instead. So yeah. And it's also that letting go of the outcome. I heard you talking the other day to someone about that. It's detaching from the outcome. It's not about you or what you need. It's about who you're serving, isn't it? So
yeah. I can't even remember who that was I was talking to about that, but yeah, it'll be in there somewhere. That's amazing. Yeah. So if you were, so you know, you are a great member of this group, and I would certainly consider you to be, you know, classic sort of rebel and rule breaker in the context that I've, you know, tried to sort of get across in, you know, status quo service. So what would you say is your own personal style of rebellion then?
I think, and I don't know whether I would class it as rebellion or I was thinking about this yesterday. I don't know whether you'd class it as rebellion or like your own moral code, because the things that have got me into bother have generally been when I've refused to breach my own moral code, when I've sincerely felt that something is wrong and I won't go along with it because the corporate line is, you know, like I just will not, you know, like, and that has got me into issues.
Same is for sure.
And I think it's like that whole, it's moral code, and it's also that being a real person and caring about people, you know, like, yeah, I just can't breach it for the sake of doing what you're supposed to do. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Yeah. And even if I'm the only person stood on my own, I am quite happy stood on my own if it's the right thing to do. And people find that really, what's the word? Like a bit daunting, you know, like I couldn't challenge something on my own because it'd be too scary. But no, I think that's where I step into the rebel, you know, like.
Yeah, it's that feeling of knowing that you have to fight for something that's wrong, or fight for something that's right, or against something that's wrong. I think both you and I were probably the same when, you know, we were in our last jobs. Oh, by the way, Becca, I was talking about before, she's in Housing World in a place you would recognise. Yeah, so I think what you and I probably both walked away from that organisation knowing that whilst we'd probably had pretty rough times in different ways, we, neither of us, and I know I can say this about you categorically just simply because I know you and I know how you operate, neither one of us, despite all the hell we went through, did anything that we would ever feel had compromised our moral code, our moral compass, our ethics, and so on. And, you know, there may have been times where, for example, I didn't cope very well, and there may have been things that I might have thought, well, I could have handled that differently, but I never did anything that I would be ashamed of, that I'd lose sleep over. And I can, hand on heart, be absolutely sure that I never did anything that, you know, that would be, you know, I did out of survival just to survive, even though I knew it was wrong. And I know that was the same for you. Lisa's now saying, I hate the conformity of corporate, the black and white viewpoint.
I agree. I think when a business gets too big, like where me and Emma were, I think we just didn't fit in when it became too big and too corporate, when there was no feeling in it. There was no, once you've lost that caring about the people, like it just doesn't fit with me. Like when you become a number, no matter what you do, it's kind of, I hate it.
Selena, hello, Selena. Yeah, Lisa said as well that even big corporate businesses would succeed more with a bit more of the ability to bend and open to wider values of their people. I totally agree. I think that's so. And Selena's also saying same in my industry. So she's in accountancy.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't need to be like that. It really doesn't. I mean, I've moved from a massive organization to a smaller one, and it's really small, it's really caring, everybody knows your name, people tell you you've done a really good job. I was like, what?
Anyone else want to burst into song there with your theme tune? Everybody knows you.
It's so refreshing, when you're in a nice place, because the culture, it just feels nice, and you can still perform. I honestly believe that the happier you are, the better you perform anyway. You're gonna get. If I'm happy,
people see this, like, this is freaking obvious, isn't it? Why don't the big dogs see this? This is like, hello, big dogs.
Happy people work better. It's like they want to get people into, like, I just honestly think of, when I think back of that place.
Oh, you've gone. You've frozen.
You
were like, we can see you for a moment, then you just, oh, you've done it again. You've frozen again. Is your Wi-Fi a bit?
Oh, we're freezing again.
Are the kids on the Wi-Fi sucking the juice out of the network?
Oh, I think Joe might be on his switch downstairs. That could be the problem. Oh dear. But yeah, I just think, I don't think there's any solution to the problem. But yeah, there's a lot of corporate businesses are like that, and it just doesn't feel nice to be there, does it?
No, it really doesn't. It's I can't deal with it. Hence the reason I'm not.
And I almost feel like when you talk to people who are in that situation with no exit plan, in a job that they hate, you do feel like you want them to wake up, because there is a different way. Like, there are other jobs outside of a bubble. Like, there are other opportunities outside of a bubble.
I totally agree. I mean, I work with people now who are, so I always think there's a number of levels of people I work with when I one-to-one coach them. So my thing is helping people get out of that bubble, but sometimes it's so deeply darkly in that you can't possibly see that there's another way. And when people are at that level, I can't really help them yet, because
they're not ready.
That's it, they're too in the dark. But then there's people who are just ready to have that kick over the edge, and they don't know perhaps how to do it, what else they're going to do. They need someone to hold their hand. They know they need to do it, but they don't know how or what. That's the people I'm talking to, and helping. And there's a big shift, and I think you and I both went through that journey, didn't we, where we were in the darkness and there was nobody could help us. And then you get to the point where you're like, hang on a minute, I just need that reason to push me over that line, and I'm gone.
Never to look back ever again.
MK saying definitely need that kick over the edge. Well, love, I'll give you an affectionate kicking if you want.
Oh yeah, no, and it's weird how you hear coaches, like I used to listen to Tony Robbins a lot, and you hear people, and even Bob Proctor says it, like, burn your bridges, and I used to think, burn your bridges, like, oh my God, then what? Like, that sounds horrifying, but it really is true, because once you've took that step over the line and you start looking out into the world, it's like when I started my business, because I suddenly started to connect with people that I would have never come across before. Different business leaders, different coaches, different people came to me. It's almost like I started to attract the right people at the right time to learn from.
You've got to put it out there and then the stuff comes in. So Selena's saying, I winged it when leaving employment. Me too, girl. Probably wrong at the time, but I made it work, even though at the time I didn't believe it, and I had negativity from my husband all the time. At the time, all I can say is 4 years strong on my own and paying 2 salaries. Selena,
wow.
you are
well done.
You really are.
Do you know what? That speaks volumes, though, because, you know, a lot of people will give opinions because they're trying to protect you. You know, like I bet, like, I mean, I don't know your husband, obviously, but a lot of people who are close to you can be negative about a business idea because they're trying to protect you. They're not doing it from a place of trying to be negative. They're scared because they've never stepped out of that comfort zone. But I always question.
It's programs as well, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
I remember I took voluntary redundancy from O2 many years ago, and my mum, I went and told my mum and dad, they were horrified, and it was like, you can't leave a job till you've got a job, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait a minute, you've taught me how to be confident and strong. And they were like, damn it, she's got us. And then when I went, because I'd almost trained them for that several years prior, when I got made redundant and went freelance with absolutely no financial buffer zone whatsoever, they were like, okay, good luck, we'll support you. And they've been gritting their teeth ever since.
Oh, but yeah, it's the well-meaning, it's the well-meaning opinions, isn't it, that sometimes can scupper you a little bit, can't they?
Yeah,
that's amazing that you knew, that you already had that awareness to know and just carry on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, let's see what the audience is saying. Selena said her ex-husband was a Dici, which is possibly Italian.
No, he was.
Lisa's saying, sometimes I think redundancy is the best thing to happen to people, to release the unconscious beast. Totally, the unconscious beast. That's a book in the making, isn't it? MK says, redundancy was brilliant for me the first time around, but thinking about that leap now is scary, but it feels the right time. Interesting, Chuck. We can talk, can't we, about that next time we have a catch up. And again, Lisa said, I'm just laughing at Dici still. The same happened to me, but it was really now or never, and that was only last August. Absolutely. Oh, and then Selena said, do you find people are jealous sometimes of that, though? Jealous of what, Selena? Let us know.
I think people are jealous of a lot, to be honest. I think people who haven't woke up yet are jealous of people who are positive and happy and who are doing something different. And I don't think they're even conscious of it. Instead of, like, if I see someone doing something really well, I take that as, that means it can be done. You know, like, that is amazing. That means it can be done. That means I can do it. You know, like, but when you've not got that awareness yet, you do use that language and you feel those feelings, and it's more, well, I can't do that. She's lucky. You know, like, well,
it's all right. It's all right for her.
It's all right for her, yeah.
Yeah.
Or even I've had the other. How do you manage to do that with 2 kids and a job? How do you manage to do that? But you can tell it's coming from a negative place, and I'm like.
But I've had so many people say to me, "Oh, I'd really love to do that, but it's the wrong time. I've got to think about my family and I mean, particularly now, people are like, oh no, you can't set up a business now. Actually, you really can though, and people. You know, I always say this: people thrive in businesses in the worst economic times, but they also fail in the best times. And it's nothing to do with the times; it's to do with
you. I mean, I would say my business has tripled through the pandemic. Like, tripled. It's got nothing to do with the timing. And what I always say to people as well is, you know, all the reasons that you're giving yourself as to why you can't, just switch it to a reason why you should. So if it's I've not got the time, if it's I need to look after my family, if it's whatever it is, use that as the reason. If you've not got time, build your business so that you've got loads of free time. You know, like, if you've not got enough money, do the business so that you've got some more money. If you want to spend more time with your family, build your business so you've got more free time for your family. You know, like, and so that you can give them more. Yeah, I do. It's just switching that but to a reason why, isn't it?
The reframe. Selena said, I think the jealousy thing, other people's strength and ability to do things themselves. MK said, definitely jealous, doing something recently brought out a lot of jealousy from others towards myself, but I tried spinning it into a positive for them as well to curb it. Well done. That's exactly what we're saying, isn't it?
And also I'm a bit like, I do go a little bit off on one, but I like to imagine, because there are some people that you can't help and you can't change, and they're just negative, and the two in the negativity, like you were saying, they're not in the place to see anything different. But I like to imagine that I've got like an invisible cloak. And it's all happy and smiley inside my cloak.
You know,
and everything else bounces off. You know,
reflect. Yeah. I ran a workshop a few years ago, and someone said to me, it was all about change and mindset and all of that stuff. And this guy said to me, yeah, it's all very well for if you live in a pink fluffy bubble, isn't it? But the rest of us live in the real world. And I said, actually, I live in a pink fluffy bubble, and I can absolutely tell you it's lovely in here. And he went, and by the end of it, it was the biggest advocate.
Oh, brilliant.
There's not much you can say to that, is there? Do you know what I mean?
No. I definitely don't apologise for the bubble of sunshine that you bring. Definitely not.
No, definitely never.
But I am more aware now that if like someone is really genuinely in a hole that they can't see a way out of, you have to adapt yourself a little bit in order to reach in to help them. You know, like if someone's really poorly and in that mind space, you can't go at them with yay. You have to bring yourself closer to the hole to help them out, don't you?
It's like you have to. It's like you speak in different languages, so you have to get into their world. I always talk about bloody Paul Harris, lovely Paul Harris. He's just an amazing guru at everything, frankly. But he wrote a short story that I don't know if he shared it in the group at some point, but if he didn't, I would love him to do that again. He wrote a short story about the well, someone trapped down in the well. And it was a perfect analogy for what we're talking about here. And I think if you are in that deep, dark place and somebody comes in and goes, hey, come on, cheer up, everything's great, let's be all happy, and, you know, let's flip these things around and da-da-da-da, and these things, that makes you like, you know.
And it just and it makes it from that place, it can make you feel worse, can't it? Because then you're like, oh, I can't do that, I can't be that, I'm so bad, you know, like, and it feeds it even more.
Did you hear that then?
Yes. What happened?
Just a poltergeist, that's all. Just loads of stuff came out of a place that really should physically not be able to. So
really?
Thanks. Probably, I think I know who that is. Thank you very much for validating our conversation.
Oh.
I'll just gloss over that.
It's better to talk out loud to them anyway, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. Well, it's just now a three being conversation and not a. So let's see what we've got with some great stuff actually in the comments tonight. I think this is the secret to this, to do these in the evening. Lisa said they may not see the hard work that goes on in the background. I've stopped calling myself lucky. I've worked for this. Damn right.
Absolutely.
MK, sometimes you need to flex your approach. How I speak to one person is so different to another, even with the same problem. So, Selena, we can be in a pink fluffy bubble, but we're still realistic when we need to be. Yep.
Yeah.
And Lisa, transactional analysis is a mainstay of mine. Oh, I love a bit of TA. Remaining the adult to support people in a different ego state. We could do
that's right.
Hang on that.
Yeah, and you know, just touching on ego state, obviously, that's something I've learned about. I've learned a lot about recognizing your own ego in a lot of things, you know, like, and also, I mean, I actually, as I started to learn about ego, I almost went onto a thing of thinking ego is always bad. and that I had to stop it all the time, you know, like, and actually you would never get anything done, you know, like if your ego wasn't part of your personality, you would never get anything done, would you? But yeah, when you're talking to someone who is completely in ego state, it's really odd when you spot it, you know, like, but I remember the first time I was really aware of it in a conversation with someone else who was telling me all about the new kitchen that they've had fitted, all about how the just all about all the things that they've done or that got. It's like, wow.
And you're right, you know, you can't get completely out of that, otherwise we'd be living at the top of a mountain with our legs crossed
and you never
with no clothes on and like just life. You know, there are people, one or two people in the world that can do that, but that's not most of us. And you know, so it does creep in, and it, you know, it does. Stephen Witten the other day did a great vlog actually on ego and kind of what its purpose is and so on. But no, you're right. When you start to see the difference between, and again, it comes back to that being of service and being connected to your purpose. When you make those shifts and you start to see life differently and what it really is about, it's so much easier to spot the stuff that's going on for other people that are, you know, on a slightly different part of that journey than you are.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's kind of like that awareness that it's okay to go after your goals and want more, but not attaching your happiness to it, which is what you would do if you were in ego state. You'd be like, I'll be happy when I've got that, or when I've done this, or when I've achieved that.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. Actually, and we absolutely said exactly that. Yeah, really, really good. So, what have you? Would you say you still kind of want to work on in life? So, you know, you're going along this journey. You're a work in progress. Have you got anything particularly that you think, you know, you still need to laser your focus in on?
I think I've almost identified in myself that my gaps were that attachment to my own outcome. So really this year I'm focusing on supporting other people to achieve their own goals. So it's almost honing in on the coach, helper, server side of my personality really, and just making sure that I keep that focus for the whole year on how can I serve more. And I've also
You've gone again.
Can you still see me? Oh, I felt like my face froze. I was like, oh.
You did dip out there for a second. Oh, you've done it again.
That was really weird.
Get them devices.
I know, I'm going to have to kick him off in a minute, but it carries on. Yeah, so I think my focus for the year is how much can I help and how much can I give this year? And I just want to keep always bringing my focus back to that. How can I help people better? So all the self-development that I'll be doing this year is all focused around how can I serve and be in that place of service.
So one of the things that, you know, I had to learn the hard way over the years was because I've always wanted to help people and give them everything, you know, they need to kind of go along that journey. I found it quite painful when I gave a lot and I was trying to convince people like, come to this place, it's really good. And they didn't want to go. And I also made the mistake of giving people a lot of my energy, time, and sometimes physical resources, and realizing that they actually weren't that ready to help themselves. They were kind of still enjoying the problem that they were having, and I'd just kind of given too much and you know, wasn't ready. They weren't ready yet. So I now have a little bit of a qualifying process where I kind of, you know, I sort of go, well, here you go, here's this, go away and do this. And then if they come back to me and go, hey, listen, so, you know, I had a friend ages ago who I offered to coach for free just because, you know, I'd known him for many years. And he was like, oh, great, that's amazing, thank you so much. So, and I said, listen, let's get on Zoom, let's do this, that, and the other. I'm going to set you with a couple of tasks. He went off and he was like, yeah, great. And he never came back to me. And I was like, okay, so that my instinct was right then, that actually, you know, the time I was going to give him that would have cost him a fortune, let's face it, you know, anywhere else. I'm glad I didn't give it, because I knew that he wasn't ready and he didn't want to do it enough
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah.
So, but I think that's a process, isn't it? And I imagine with some of the people you encounter with your business particularly, and even, you know, in your you know, normal job, shall we call it, in housing and all of that stuff, you meet a lot of people that they don't want to let go of the victim stuff yet. They don't.
No, no.
How
It's
do you
really, really, it's really unusual that you should say that about the task thing, actually, because even with my business, I did some training recently. I went to GoPro, a really big event in Las Vegas. It was virtual this time, so I got to go. I loved it. And he actually talked about that. And that was some of the learning that I took away last year, because he said, when you bring someone into your business and you've asked them what they want and you're going to show them how to do it, he said, build in tasks around that. So if you know someone wants to earn £500 a month, set them tasks to do that you know will get them that £500 a month. Because then you're getting that feedback instantly to know, is that person worth your time? Do they really want it? Do they really want it as much as they're saying they want it? Because they'll demonstrate it with the actions. And if they don't want it, you can give them smaller tasks to see what level they are at. He said, and if they're not at any level, you need to be giving that time to someone else. You know, like, because
right. But you can, when you're a good coach, or, you know, like you and I are, as I'm empaths, you're very intuitive about it. You can sense an energy. So if people are like, yes, I can't wait, I'm going to go do this, do this. You know, when those are the people that actually do mean that, and then there's others that get shiny object syndrome. But the ones that you do intuitively know are going to do it, you're like, I need to be ready with the next thing now, because they're going to come back to me like,
yeah.
And that's, you know, that's how I work with people as a coach, because, you know, there's a lot of magic happens in the coaching sessions, but there is always a lot of stuff in between. I will not work with people generally in a normal one-to-one coaching scenario. I will not work with people solely in those coaching sessions. There's always stuff that happens in between. I won't work with anybody who does not commit to that. I've not had it yet, but I made a commitment a long time ago. If someone's on a high ticket program with me, for example, we get part way through it and they're not doing the work, I will say to them, listen, I'm going to refund you because I can't work with you. And I made that decision, because I will not take someone's money if they're not doing the work.
Yeah. Wow.
It doesn't feel right.
Yeah. I'm learning something here, Emma. Thank you. Yeah, because I do need to start thinking in that way anyway, because like I'm almost thinking, if my team is to grow in the level that I'm expecting it to this year, I need to have systems in place for that, to make sure I'm giving my energy to the people who really want it. That's really interesting.
Is listen to your intuition about that, because you've absolutely got that in spades. Lisa even said, sometimes people select a coach because they think they will give them all the answers.
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes people start a business thinking it will just happen as well. You know, like in what I do, it's pretty similar. People think that they'll sign up to a business and it will just happen without them actually doing some work.
Yeah, or you create a website and then people will go, hey, please
let's all go in order. Definitely.
Oh. If only life was that simple. It depends how you look at it. So who do you look up to? Who's kind of a role model in your life, or famous people or anything like that you would say would be a rebellious model to look up to?
Rebellious model. See, I kind of, Leanna, this is going to sound like the cheesiest role model ever, but mine is like Sylvester Stallone.
Oh,
because,
wow!
Like, I've always loved the Rocky films because I love the whole underdog becomes, something. But actually, his story is so inspiring. Like he was actually in a Zoom room with me at virtual GoPro. I nearly died. I was like, what? But his story is amazing because he was living in a tiny, tiny apartment on the equivalent of like £40 a week. He was trying to be an actor, and everyone was telling him that he didn't look right, he didn't sound like, you're rubbish, go away, Sylvester Who. And he then thought, well, if I can't act, maybe I can write. And he went away and he wrote the script for Rocky. And he said he was handing out 50 copies of the script every single day to loads and loads of like producers, writers. Nobody wanted it. They said it's rubbish, Sylvester Who, go away. And then one person, after like months and months and months of this 50 a day, one person said to him, I'll give you 200 grand for it. And
Wow.
his whole family was like, take the money. You've never seen money like this, take the money. And he said he remembers being sat in this flat that he could touch the window and the door at the same time. It was that small. And he said, basically, he just thought to himself, I've always wanted to act. I feel so, I really want to be Rocky. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to do it myself. And the guy offered him, I think he went up to 350 grand. And he was like, when you're on 40 quid a week and you've got a tenner for your food and a tenner for your electric, he said, someone's offering you 350 grand. And he said no. And all his family thought he was mental. And like, they were asking him, so how much did Rocky actually make? 900 million. Because it's the most watched, rewatched.
Wow.
Wow. But that's in a way that is why I think of him as like rebellious, because he went against the odds. His whole
trusted his instinct.
He trusted his instinct over the money, over what everybody was telling him. They were all telling him he was a rubbish actor. He'd never be any good. You need to sell the script because you're never going to be in anything. And he just carried on, laser focused on his goal. And I just think that's kind of what you need, laser focus and just going after what you believe in.
We've got a great couple of role model examples in here, actually. Jill back. Hello, Jill, my love. You're right. Russell Brand and Lisa saying, Amberlynn, yes, let's have a historical figure in there. And hello, Amjad. Yeah, with your lovely little flower icons. I love it when you put them. Just so sunshiny. What a great story. That's so cool.
It was just, he's so real and he was just so amazing. And just to hear like where he came from, you know, like you just don't think of him. He's such a massive, massive star. You just can't imagine him sitting in a tiny flat being told he was shit. You know,
you forget these people come from real life somewhere.
But it just makes you think, never get knocked off your course. If you believe in something, just always keep going after what you believe in, because you're on the right track. No one can knock you off, only you.
True. Oh, wow. So next time you get offered to 250,000 people and you know you should be on 9 million, then think on. Think so.
900 million, they're like, what on earth?
Wow, that's amazing. Oh my God, I love that.
Crazy.
So if you could, this is going to be a toughie now, if you could crystallize one tip for being a kind of, you know, for the people out there who are perhaps not quite as, you know, brave about their own version of rebellion like yet, what would be the one thing you would advise people? What would be the superstar tip right now?
Ooh.
You can have 3. I'll let you have 3.
Oh, thank you.
I know they'll all be good.
I think like just see, mine has always been, don't be afraid to stand alone. Do you know, like always do what feels right. Do you know, don't be afraid to stand alone. And I always think along with that, if that causes something what people might class as negative, like the loss of a job or the loss of a relationship or whatever that might be, just always trust that sometimes the universe has to give you a little shake to put you where you're meant to be. You know, like it always feels, those little jiggles in the universe, it always feels tough when you're in it. But on the other side, when you look back, you can always see that that's where your most powerful lessons come from. You know, like
I'm doing a jiggle now for that.
I mean, I mean, even especially when you think about like relationships are jobs, really. It just feels so horrible when you're in it. But that's where you find your strength, and that's where you learn your lessons. And I always think that was the same for me in that period of depression. It felt horrendous while I was in it, but that's where I learned the most as I came out of that. That's where my awakening was. You know, like it wouldn't have happened without that. So just always think, even those hard times, they might be needed to put you on the path where you need to be.
How many tips was that?
I don't know.
Don't be afraid to stand alone. Trust the jiggles.
Trust the jiggles.
Here's another one. I love that.
Don't let the opinions of other people determine where you're going or what you're thinking, because people's opinions are the biggest dream killers. You know, they really are, and they sometimes come from a well-meaning place, but opinions can stop you doing things that you really want to do. And
people's opinions are dream killers. Oh, I love that. So Jill in the chat there will know what do we call that, Jill? The opinions of other people. We've got a name for that, haven't we? Let's see if it comes up in time. See if she's still with us. I'm waiting. It's a bit of a delay, obviously, because comments come up later than they were actually typed in. Let's see if she typed. See if she's there. Oh, it's a cliffhanger. Come on, Jill. What's the opinions of other people thing? Tell us what it is. Might look into the goop. There we go. Goop.
So the goop, right?
So those of you who have no clue what we're talking about, this stands for the good opinion of other people. So goop is a horrible sticky substance that weighs you down, and you get bogged down in it. And most people spend all of their lives worrying about what other people are going to think of them, but other people don't care all that much because they're too worried about themselves and what other people think of them.
Definitely.
And it can be crippling, can't it? Actually, you know, if you weigh down in goop, you're worried about good opinion of other people, then it is absolutely going to stop you moving forward in life and being you and doing all these amazing things we're talking about. So there you go. You learned a new phrase today, everybody. Goop.
I love that. Goop. I'm going to keep that.
Cool. Thank you, Peter Sage, out there. We won't be listening, but you never know. One day might be. Anywho, so any sort of so we had a Rebel Book Club earlier this afternoon. You're a booky person, aren't you? I think
I am. In fact, I've put both of those books into my Amazon cart already.
Yeah, there we go.
I am a little bit of a bookie. My favourite books that have had like a really profound impact on me were Louise Hay's "You Can Heal Your Life," or I Can Heal My Life. You can. It's me or you.
Somebody's healing something.
I'm sure it's "You Can Heal Your Life" by Louise Hay, and Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Oh yeah. Do you know, that's the thing I kept saying to people when I left my job. I was like, they were like, oh my God, you know, good luck, what are you going to be doing? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm feeling the fear, I'm doing it anyway.
I think Louise Hay's really it's got like a really spiritual side to it, because she talks about how you create illnesses in your body by carrying stresses and things like that. So that really spoke to me from a healing perspective as well. And learning how to release all those things from your childhood and stuff. She's really good. And Susan Jeffers was literally just that. I can handle anything. Whatever happens, I'll handle it.
As long as it's not the end, you're all right. Still in the game. Absolutely. The what was the other thing? The one that I think you'll like is the Empath Survival Guide by Dr. Judith Orloff.
Oh, right. I shall add that to my list. Thank you very much.
It's absolutely superb. I went a little bit French there. Only slightly, though. So it gets wild and crazy when we do these in the evening, apparently. So, where can, let's see what Jill's saying. How many times have we not done something we wanted to do because someone has shown disapproval of your idea? That scoop, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do find that when new people come into my business, because they've not been exposed to any self-development, they are very conscious of what people are going to think, and it's sort of slowly introducing them to the world of self-development and kind of for them to find their own learning journey kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's so much more than just selling stuff, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the whole business was started from a healing point of view. So they've got a healing retreat for women who were sexually abused as children. So it's all about like empowering people to start their own healing journey. And it's the same with the presenters. Even though you've got this business that is now empowering you to earn money from home, there's also a lot of stuff that comes with it around self-development and like books to read and audios to watch and how to grow yourself as a person. So a lot of it kind of feeds into self-development stuff. It's just kind of drip feeding it to people who don't know they need it, because when you don't know what you need, do you?
And it's easy to assume, isn't it, that everybody knows all this stuff. I'm just asking, I'm not quite sure what, you might need to just slightly rephrase this question, Amjad. What excites you most about working for Rebel? Are you asking me this or Lisa? What? Just give us a little bit of clarity or wait for a moment. Oh, you've got a little behind you. Not so many anymore.
I know, he's 7 now.
He's just ducked behind.
Yeah, he's like, Jack, you might as well come away there.
Oh, to me, thank you. So that question was to me. What excites me most, Amjad? That is a very good question. Are you all right, mate?
Hello.
See, twice because you're in the mirror as well.
That's
what excites me is helping people be who they are, and not being scared of that anymore. And I love the fact that this group has created a little family and everybody's supporting each other, and that it's become what I think is deeply exciting for me about this is it's become bigger than me. So everybody's like doing work together, supporting each other, caring about each other, being non-judgmental, making friends even that I don't even know about in the background, and that people can just have this safe space to be who they are. That really, really excites me. Thank you for that question. I really appreciate that.
It does feel like a proper community. I love it.
Good, thank you. It's definitely got all the right people in it, hasn't it?
Really definitely. Really nice place.
Yeah. So Lisa, where can people find you, sort of on social media and your business and whatnot?
So I'm predominantly on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. so
all of
just my name, Lisa Gaskell, and I do everything I do really, I share live. So follow me in any of those places if you wish.
Thank you, Amjad. You're welcome. So Lisa Gaskell, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
And TikTok, I'm doing the TikTok thing. I know I'm 40, but I'm giving the TikTok thing a go.
Young people are annoyed with
it. Is taking me. I'm not going to lie though. It is taking me like way more time than it should. I'm sure the kids are just like 2 clicks and they've done it, whereas I'm like, it's taking me about 10 minutes to make a 15-second video.
I don't get it, if I'm honest. I tried fiddling about with it once and I was like, no, this is not for me. I'll just watch the funny ones. I think there's an Irish guy, and I can't remember his blooming name now, but him and his family are flipping hilarious. And then there's a little monkey that I watch a lot. He's well cute. And we're sending him off Amazon and he opens them and he gets dead excited. And it's amazing.
Anyway. I do get some really good food ideas off TikTok, weirdly. I keep, because I've watched a few food ones now, I get loads of food ones and they're like, I need to make a shot where you put stuff in the middle and then you cut it and you fold it. Like, amazing.
I love the whole, you know, the hinchy thing where, I don't know, I'm doing this, you'd get a wrap and you put like cheese and ham in it, or whatever, and you wrap it up in foil, and then you
yeah.
oh, that's so nice. And I've kind of mixed that up and done some like, you know, like chili, tomatoey stuff in there and all that kind of thing. Oh,
Nice.
oh, that's nice. It's making my mouth water, and I've already never mind. Well, we have done a beautiful spot on an hour situation, and that has flown by because it was
it has.
really has, and so nice to see you, and so glad to see you doing really well, and you're happy and chirpy and looking gorgeous as always.
Oh,
just massive thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I've loved it. I love the group, and I've loved coming on with you. It's been brilliant.
Thank you so much, sweetie. And thank you, everybody, for brilliant comments and for watching. Let us know if you're on the replay. Do a hashtag replay in the comments, or just say something so we know you've been there. And yeah, stay safe, everybody, and good night.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.